next guest is the editor-in-chief of the show daily in English here. It's called the IFA International. Richard Barnes, welcome back into Tomorrow. How are you, sir?
Thanks, Dave. Very good.
Good.
Actually, this has been an amazing show, so I'm feeling pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, us too. I mean, tired. We're exhausted. We need like a 6-week break. But the good news is there's been so much here at the show that you've covered and we've covered, and I always like getting your take on what you've seen that's jumped out at you here.
I just saw actually on your desk that you've got the day 4 edition, so we're pretty happy that you're
day 4, day 5. We got all the day editions, all of which we think we should be in every day, with just a little mention, but we'll work on that. But what's on the show floor that just you couldn't tear your eyes from?
There was no particular gadget that actually grabbed me, Dave. Obviously, there were some fantastic. We've seen the new 110-inch UHD screens, etc., which are, I think, brilliant. Yeah.
Costly,
there
but
were
brilliant.
There were two things I think that really, to me, were the marking points of IFA 2015. One, and it's funny you were just talking about Microsoft and Intel, because to me that the announcement just before IFA by Intel that they were releasing this new fantastic chip, to me is going to be a quantum leap for the business. That coupled with the Microsoft Windows 10 announcement, and of course we've seen several new devices. In particular, there was a Toshiba, a couple of new Toshiba machines, which I was very impressed with. That to me is a quantum leap. It's not just an improvement. It's not just we've gone one step further. It's breaking Moore's law. It's going a whole. I think Intel was talking about in some cases being 10 times faster for gaming in some applications. And so I think we're this IFA people that are here are not seeming to really jump up and down about that. But I think in a few years they'll look back and go, wow, there's all these new things we can do. And I was at that IFA show when this stuff was announced. It was
when
like
that
MP3
processor came out. Yeah, exactly.
MP3, when it was announced here a number of years ago, didn't get people jumping up and down. They thought, here's another codec, and it's for sound, and that's okay, that's cool.
That's nice. And then it took off like crazy. Yeah.
Because I think what's going to happen, and in fact I'm sure, what's going to happen with these new technologies, Microsoft is just ramping up this new their new software. Intel are just scraping on the edge of what they can do with these chips. And I think what we're going to see over the next few years from what's been released and spoken about here at IFA is going to be absolutely astounding. And I think to me that's a really big thing. The second big thing that hit me at this IFA was actually just in one word, and that's China. We've been hearing about China over the last few years, becoming more important as a supplier, and now of course with the new CE China show that's been announced, this is a major announcement for IFA.
And another reason why we have to get additional Chinese visas now, because April 2016 will be the inaugural CE China.
Absolutely. And to me also at this show, one of the things, we've been seeing it happening gradually over the years, but really at this show we're seeing an emergence of the Chinese companies also on an international level with branding. And this is happening more than ever. Of course, in America we saw TCL taking over the Chinese theater in Los Angeles. They're growing big time there. TCL now coming much more into Europe. Companies like Hisense, THTF even becoming more important, Changhong as well. In the telecoms, ZTE, as you say in America, we say ZTE here in Europe. Huawei, Alcatel One Touch, again, they look like going big time. And higher as well in the white goods. But what's interesting about them is they're all looking for the #1 spot in the market, and maybe they're going to get there.
Yeah.
And I think this is also the other big news this year.
And certainly a lot of Chinese consumers are in fact doing just that, consuming a lot more from
so it's going
elsewhere around the world.
It's going both ways now. This is new.
It is a win-win, I think, for a lot of folks. Certainly the consumers with variety and choice and affordability of all kinds of new products, and manufacturers for opening new markets. And nothing wrong with that at all. So I guess we'll catch up as well. I'm sure you'll be at CE China in April as well.
We will. And if anybody wants to get the news, we can. All our editions are online. on IFA-international.org, and you can go into the download the dailies and get the dailies there. So anybody who's missed it, you can get it there.
Very good. So there's time to sneak some other mentions in that would have been in the print. Well, anyway. Richard Barnes, editor-in-chief of the IFA International, the English version of the show daily, if you will. And always fun to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us and helping us wrap up our IFA coverage for 2015.
Dave.
And, of course, we hope you'll join us if you've got questions, comments, concerns, anything at all about anything you've seen or heard at this year's IFA. Be sure to use the audio option on the free Into Tomorrow app. Ask the questions. We'll get you the answers. Next week, we're back in our Miami studios with a regular, if you will, broadcast. Do stay tuned into tomorrow.